It's the Mike Francesa podcast on the Bet Rivers Network.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast on the Bet Rivers Network, brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos Tequila is brought to you by those who drink it. All right, a little later in the month of August we go. Some NFL stuff we'll get to. College football begins this Saturday, and week one really goes from now until Labor Day night. It's really, the opener is really, that's considered like week one. Week two is considered the first weekend in September. So there's a couple of games, nothing huge on the 24th. And then you have a couple of big games over the Labor Day weekend. There's a whole bunch of games on the 31st. And then you have, a couple of big primetime games coming up that weekend, which we'll get to. So college football is back. It starts on the 24th, and then there's some games over the next 2 weeks. And then, of course, we're heading towards the NFL season, which will begin on the 5th of September, which is coming very quickly, as a matter of fact. We're almost within 2 weeks of the regular season, and we are starting to get some definition. But first, baseball. And really a tough couple of days for the Yankees to lose back-to-back games to the Tigers, who have pitching and are trying to build through that pitching staff, but are a very light-hitting team, and they came through. Now, everyone's jumping on Holmes now. We have talked about Holmes on our podcast since the start of the season. I told you then that I didn't think this bullpen, while I wasn't trying to pick on Holmes, I did not think he was a quality closer and good enough to be a championship closer. He's blown 10 saves this year, and the idea that he's been good all year is nonsense. He got bailed out the first weekend in Houston by amazing defensive plays, by bad Houston base running, by throwing guys out at the plate. He would have blown 2 saves then if that wasn't the case. So the idea that he was great early, he wasn't great early. He hasn't been great at all. And if you look at his overall numbers, when you've pitched 50 innings and you've given up 51 hits and you have a 1.3 whip and your batting average against is 260, that's not the numbers that are going to win for you. Go look at Miller's numbers in Oakland. His whip is 0.77. His batting average is 120. Okay, he gives up 20 hits in 45 innings. That's closer material. You got to be able to have swing and miss stuff, and you got to be able to have a repeatable pitch that you can control, and that can be an out pitch. He is up and down. There's times where his slide is really good, but there's times where his slide is off, and he doesn't have the other pitch to get the job done. And Leiter hasn't been good since he's been here. And they had other guys who, Weaver, Cousins, they have ability, but none of them are going to be good enough when it's on the line. And this bullpen problem is not solvable because I don't think Heal's going to be the answer. And I don't think they have anybody on their roster that's going to be the answer any better than Holmes. But Holmes is going to be a hold your breath closer, and I've told you that all year. They didn't blow the game once last night. They blew it twice, and they blew it to a bunch of banjo hitters. They got the lead with a seeing-eye single. I mean, last night, let's be honest, the Yankees for 2 days didn't score against Detroit. And it's one of the rare games, back-to-back, where Soto and Judge did not score a run and not get a run in back-to-back games. Soto was 0 for 7. Judge was 2 for 8. No RBIs, no runs scored. You haven't seen that often for 2 games at all this season. Yesterday, they scored on a wild pitch, and they scored on a seeing-eye single by LeMahieu. And he can't get a big out against a banjo hitter with the game on the line. Gives up a double down the left field line, then he gives up a single. And then Leiter comes in and gives up 2 runs. And the Yankees lose, after getting shut out the night before, the Yankees lose a dreadful game and lose 2 straight games to Detroit. This has gone on and on. Now, Baltimore, which is in to play 3 games with the Mets, hasn't been any better. They've been woefully inconsistent, and that's why they are back and forth and back every single day. And it's like they can't shake each other. And it's almost like there's just no way for them to shake each other, that they're going to do this to each other all year, that this is just the way it's going to go. 73 and 52, both tied. Back, forth. One takes a half-game lead or a game lead. The other one comes right back. Same thing over and over. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Orioles are 5-5 in their last 10. Orioles are ready to take on the Mets 3 games. An enormous 10 games for the Mets. We'll get to that in a minute. But here's the thing. Those 2 games just showed you how hard it is for the Yankees to do anything when it's not Soto and Judge. And they weren't productive in those 2 games, and they scored 2 runs. One on a wild pitch, one on a single. You look at the numbers, and they're staggering for these 2 guys. Home runs, Judge leads the league with 44, leads the majors with 44, Soto's 5th with 34. RBIs, Judge leads with 111, Soto's 8th with 87. Average, Judge is 2nd with 331. Judge's numbers are staggering. Soto's 9th with 300. There's only 9 300 hitters in baseball this year. On base percentage, they're 1-2 in baseball. On OPS, they're 1-2 in baseball. Walks, they're 1-2 in baseball. Runs scored, Soto's 2nd with 103. Judge has got 96. Walks, 104 for Soto, 102 for Judge, way ahead. Third place guy's got 80. Fourth place guy's got 60. They have 102 and 104. Judge is first, second, fourth in the offensive stats. Did you get that? He is first in home runs, first in RBIs, first in on-base percentage, first in OPS, first in slugging, second in walks, second in average, fourth in run scores. Soto is first, second, fourth, fifth, eighth, ninth. In the top 10 in every category. In 5 of the categories in the top 5, 4 in the top 2. And Judge leads in 5 categories and is second in 2. Their numbers are staggering, but without him, the offense goes nowhere. One thing last night, to be fair, and they benched Verdugo against a lefty, and a very good lefty in Skubal, and put Dominguez in. Dominguez had a rough night with the bat. We know he can hit. But you know what? If Verdugo had been in left field when that last play was made, no way the guy scores. If he tries to score, he throws him out at the plate. Verdugo's been great in the outfield all year. You can't take that away from him. He hasn't hit in 2 months, but you cannot take away from him that he has been great at turning doubles into singles and turning runs into outs in the outfield. He has been sensational in that time. Now, as I said to you, the Mets have an enormous 10 games here after losing again because their bullpen can't do the job. Bad loss. Gave up a run in the 7th, gave up a run in the 8th. They have got to have somebody who can step up and give them some kind of quality leading into Diaz. If they don't get that, they're not going to make the playoffs. Garrett, right, he's just as good as he was early. He's bad now. They gave up a run on a wild pitch. They give up a run. They give up solo runs, bing, bing, to a team that's not a major league team right now because it's been completely traded away. It's 30 games under 500. Mets have no control. Their pitchers come in out of the bullpen. They have no command, no control. And it has to change. And now 10 enormous games. 3 against the Orioles, which will not be easy. 2 night games. And then a day game on Wednesday before they go to 4 in San Diego, 3 in Arizona, 2 teams in front of them in the wild card. The Mets start the night 2 behind the Braves for the wild card, 4.5 behind Arizona, 5.5 behind San Diego, and 2 in front of the Giants, who are 63 and 63. Their offense, Nimmo started to come back now, show some pop. Now he might be hurt. Alonso's starting to show some life. They have enough pop. They don't have enough in the bullpen. Forget winning in the postseason with this bullpen. Is it enough to get to the postseason with this bullpen? And there's no way to fix it now. There's no way to go to fix it. You just got to hope that you can mix, match, invent, try, experiment, and come up with something. Take it day by day, take it inning by inning, whatever, and try and get something to work. But that's what it's about. And I know you can't go into a series saying I'm going to win every game, but even against the Marlins. But when you have a lead and you're a couple innings from sweeping a series against a team that has no offense, you got to shut them down. You got to shut them down. Now, I'm not getting into the Daniel Jones things. We'll do a lot on Daniel Jones in about a week. It's too early. Now, a couple NFL things. Daniels named the starter in Washington. No surprise there. No surprise. Expectations ran high. A lot of teams liked him. No surprise. I'm not surprised that Nix is moving very steadily. I've said to you all along that I thought Nix would fit with Sean Payton and would take that job. It looks like he's about to do that in Denver. I could see why Sean would like Nix and like what Nix gives you. Nix doesn't have the greatest arm in the world, but he's mature, first of all, because he's not young. He's old for a rookie. And he knows how to run an offense. And he knows how to dink and dunk his way down the field. He knows how to turn a bad play into a positive play. He knows how to buy time. He knows all the little tricks that sometimes it takes years for these guys to learn. He knows those already. He's learned those already, which makes him a far more developed quarterback at this stage. And, again, to me, no surprise if he's the starter. And I think he will be. I now would be surprised if he's not. I really would be surprised if he's not. You know, as I said, we are a couple of days away from college football, which is nice. Good to have football back. Hey, there's not any games that are going to, have you going crazy on Saturday. Florida State plays Georgia Tech. Rutgers is in action, but against Howard. You have really nothing to get excited about on Saturday. And then the second Saturday, which is really considered all the first week, because there's some games on Thursday night on the 29th. There's a couple of games on Friday. And then you get to Saturday, and Penn State plays West Virginia on the 31st. Clemson plays Georgia on the 31st. You have Miami against Florida on the 31st. Texas is in action on the 31st. You have a couple of games on the weekend that people are going to like. Once you get to the, a couple of primetime games, you have Notre Dame against A&M, which should be a really good game. You have LSU and USC, BC and Florida State. So by the time you get to the 31st, you got some good games. Here's something that is so telling. Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State making the comment that he finally had to tell his players, enough already. Enough already. Quit having your agents call and ask for more money. Listen, the window's closed. I told the players, Gundy said, no more negotiating. Portal's over. Negotiations done. Don't have your agent call now. Now's the time to play football. The window opens again when the season ends in December. Don't bother me now. Don't have your agent call me. Don't ask for any more money. Don't ask to renegotiate. Knock it off. And this is what has been reaped in college athletics. And this is what has driven guys like Jay Wright, guys like Nick Saban out of the sport. How much money do I get? I want more than this guy. Here's what I want to come here. You can't protect your own players. You can't keep your own players. You can't develop your own players. Everyone's picking at your players. The system is complete chaos. Hey, if you're a rich school, does it work to your advantage? Yes. If you're St. John's, did Rick Pitino use it to your advantage? Yes. Did he steal a really good college guard from Seton Hall? Yes. Did he steal a point guard from Utah? Yes. So you're happy about it. But what about the teams that lost their players? What about a team like Fairfield, which was a big surprise last year and had a couple of good mid-major players and had them go to Duke and Northwestern? As one coach said to me, it's like, if you're a mid-major now, it's like being a minor league manager. If you develop them too quickly, they're gone tomorrow. Big club's going to come take them. Same thing. Have a good year as a freshman. Develop a kid as a sophomore. He's gone. Big school's going to come and grab him. Somebody's grabbing him. You're losing him. This system is complete chaos. Plus, the players never stop talking, thinking about one thing: money. It's got to wear these coaches out. It's got to drive them absolutely insane, and it's already driven some of the good ones out of the sport. And it's only going to get worse. We'll see you.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Francesa podcast on the Bet Rivers Network.